Hey guys, welcome to the third episode or podcast of Nightmare Wrestling. I know it has been quite a while since the last posting, but just been busy with work, got COVID, busy with school, so I do apologize for that. This might sound a little different because I am in the car because I wanted to do a Wrestlemania Backlash preview and just to discuss some of the things that have been going on. As you can see, I have yet to figure out how to get the thumbnail to stay up through the whole, listening of this. I'm still working on it again. If you have any suggestions to help me do that, be appreciated. But let's just get right into it. So, the last time I did the podcast, I talked about, Roman Reigns was telling us, he was going to tell us what was next. So over the course of the few episodes, we saw what happened. There's supposed to be the tag team unification, but obviously that's not going to happen now, at least right now anyway. And I actually like the idea of the Bloodline having all of the titles. I actually did like that idea. My main concern with it was, the overexposure. Would you get tired of seeing them? Because most likely the Usos would have been on both programs. Whereas, you kind of have Roman sort of peeking his head into Raw here and there, but he's been mainly on SmackDown. Apologize for the cough, that's just like the leftover from the COVID that I had. So that was my main concern, but I will say, it really doesn't make sense of why they did this 180. If you do read the dirt sheets, I don't go out of my way to read the dirt sheets. Like I said before, mostly I go to Bleacher.com and reading about the Yankees or the Mets or one of the football teams or whatever, and you're scrolling through, you see something about WWE or AEW pop up, and I'll read it. And one of the things they were saying was that that was never the plan for them to do the unification, and it just doesn't make sense to announce it, build to it, and then change it at the last second. And I think, listen, I could be wrong, I think they did want to do it, but I think they thought, okay, A, does this hurt the rest of the tag team division? Because obviously you want to keep the Usos strong and Roman strong, again, until we do the build up to The Rock. And do we overexpose them? Because they're going to have to be on Raw. They're going to have to be on SmackDown. And if you want to build up your tag team, do you want to keep having every tag team lose to the Usos? Because the Usos haven't reached that level of where Roman is. When he faces Drew McIntyre, Drew's not going to win. You're keeping Roman strong for them. There's a reason to keep Roman strong because of who you want his future opponent to be. But do you have a reason to keep the Usos strong, but it's not a strong enough reason as with Roman. There's not that big tag team that you're waiting for. It's not Alpha Academy. It's not the Street Profits. It's not even New Day. You don't have that big program you're waiting to get to. So, I guess that's why they felt like, okay, this is a bad idea. But, we'll see what's going to happen tonight. Obviously during the build-up, RK Bro has pretty much always got the upper hand of the Usos. So I am pretty certain that tonight that the Bloodline's going to go over. I'm trying to figure out who's going to take the pin. And I kind of feel like, I don't think it's going to be Drew. If it's going to be Drew, that means Roman's going to pin him. But I think Randy Orton's going to take the pin. I'm just guessing, but I think Randy's going to take the pin. As for the rest of the card, to tell you the truth, I really don't see anything else that's really exciting about this card. You're doing the Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair thing. I am pretty confident Ronda's walking out with the title. I do not see you getting Ronda to say, I quit. I'm sorry. I just don't. But, as I said before, it would be very cool to have Naomi join the Bloodline. And for Naomi to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I think if Ronda wins, which she probably will, if you're going to go that route, I think Ronda is the want Naomi to get that edge. You want her to be that cold, calculating, you know, presence to like sort of go with, you know, the Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns tandem. And I think, you know, Naomi has to get that edge, and that edge to beat a person like Ronda. So I would like to see Naomi turn heel, win the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the person she beat be Ronda Rousey. And I think you can do it while she's still tag team with Sasha, because that would create a good dynamic as well. You know, hey, you know, we're tag team, what are you doing, why are you acting this way? And I can see them, you know, having a match with each other. The two tag team champions, they're having a match with each other. And it could sort of be reminiscent of what happened with The Rock and Mankind, when, you know, Mankind thought Rock threw out the book. They're defending the tag team championships. Mankind just sat on the steps and didn't help The Rock, and they lost the tag team titles. And you can do something like that similar with Sasha and Naomi, because listen, WWE is not above recycling, recycling storylines. Hell, they did it not so long ago with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy with the whole, you know, drug testing, taking the piss test, and, you know, saying the line is better to be pissed off than pissed on, because prior to that, Shawn Michaels did it with Vince McMahon. And I believe it was done prior to that, back in the late 80s. I don't recall who was with. So they're not above repeating storylines. Something else I thought about, as I have said repeatedly, about keeping Roman strong to wrestle The Rock at WrestleMania, and that Roman needs to go over The Rock. I think the perfect person to defeat Roman Reigns, and you guys may disagree, tell me if you disagree, but I think the perfect person is Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods, and the way to do it, let him win the Money in the Bank contract, let him hold it until after WrestleMania of next year, and he beats Roman. I'm telling you, I'm watching the shows, and I'm like, you know, who would it be? I mean, okay, if it was Seth, you know, if it was Drew, if it was, you know, Bobby Lashley, okay, so a little more exciting to me than Seth or Drew. Cody, but Xavier Woods, you can't tell me the crowd's behind him. He fucking deserves it, and it's just a great story. You can build off of what they had the little interaction with King of the Ring, because clearly they dropped the King Woods thing. Ever since Woods got hurt, clearly they dropped it. So I think that would be the perfect thing to do, is to have Xavier Woods defeat Roman for the title or titles after he faces The Rock. Like I said, for the rest of the card, you know, your main event, obviously 6-man tag. To me, the bloodline's going over. It's just who's taking the pin, who's scoring the winning pinfall. I'm going to say it will be one of the Usos over maybe Randy. It might be Roman taking. I don't see Drew being pinned. I think you're going to keep Drew strong, because I think they're going to go that route. Plus, you got sort of Shinsuke hanging in the background. But I think it's going to be Randy Orton who takes the pin, but we'll see. I don't even know what else the rest of the card is, to tell you the truth. I'm a little surprised that they're doing the Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin over having the Women's Tag Team Championships being defended on the pay-per-view. I am surprised, however, how quickly they did the split between Madcap Moss, I hate that name, between Madcap and Baron Corbin. I thought they would sort of draw it out a little bit longer, kind of like how they did with The Miz and Alex Riley. I thought they would drag it out a little bit more. I thought they could have gotten a little bit more out of it, because to me, I don't think the crowd is as wild or behind Madcap. Remember when Alex Riley, you know, The Miz just kept shitting on him, and finally he just had enough and he just went after The Miz, and how crazy the crowd went. The crowd, to me, didn't get that excited with Madcap, and I think they should have drawn it out a little bit longer. I am not quite sure if Belair is defending her title, so I do apologize. I should have looked it up before I started this. I think you have Omos and Bobby Lashley going at it. I mean, there's really nothing exciting there. You know, listen, you got to find things to do with some of these guys, you know, to keep them out of the title picture, you know. So But to me, the two biggest matches I think people really want to see, and I mean, I do think they took away from it, not doing a unification, or they could have did what they did with Triple H, Stone Cold, Kane, and Undertaker, where they did, winner take all, and Austin and Triple H walked out with the championship and the Intercontinental Championship. You could have did the winner take all match. I mean, I guess that would have gave it away that the Bloodline is going to win. I don't know, but definitely the 6-man tag is your big thing, and behind that is the I Quit match with Ronda and Charlotte. And I just don't see how you do this with with Ronda saying I quit. The only way I can see them doing it is reminiscent of Royal Rumble 1999, Mankind versus The Rock. The Rock handcuffed Mick Foley, took the 10 chair shots to the head, and they played the recording of him saying I quit. That is the only way I think you get Charlotte to win, is that you get Ronda in that position, and there's a recording that she says I quit. That's the only way it happens to me. That's her out. Because if you look at it, does Charlotte really need another win over Ronda? I mean, come on. Charlotte is the biggest star in the women's division. I'm sorry. Now you may say Becky Lynch is, but I think it's it's Charlotte, and it's Ronda who really needs to win. In my opinion, it's the other way around. So I don't really see what the benefit is of having Charlotte have another win over Ronda. I don't. I mean, honestly, I think Ronda would benefit from the win a little bit better, because Ronda doesn't have that aura that I think she had the first time around. Now, again, I am a Ronda hater, so my judgment could be clouded, but I just think that's just the out for her. If you want to keep the title on Charlotte, that's just the out. But then again, if Charlotte wins, who's Charlotte's next opponent? Who do you have waiting in the wins that's realistically going to defeat Charlotte? You don't have anybody besides Ronda. And then it becomes, well, now who's going to beat Ronda? Who can you build up to legit say this person can defeat Ronda? And I think you can do that with Naomi if it's done correctly, if her heel turn is done correctly. And that's pretty much all I have for you. I mean, I believe the shows are going to start in a few minutes. I'm doing this just before the show starts. I'll do a reaction afterwards. And, again, I apologize. I didn't do the full rundown because I really don't remember all the matches. I just remember the 6-man tag, the SmackDown Championship, Madcap and Baron and Omos. And, you have Edge and AJ Styles. And you have Seth and Cody. Seth and Cody is really going to be hot. I really think it's going to be good. Definitely, to me, Seth is going over. I think there will be a tiebreaker. Can they push that to save it till SummerSlam? Most likely not. But I definitely see Seth Rollins going over. And as far as the AJ and Edge, this match sort of seems forced. And to me, it's sort of up in the air who's going to win. I can see AJ winning, and then the same thing, you're going to have to have a tiebreaker later. So those are my predictions. Bloodline goes over. Ronda Rousey goes over. Lashley goes over. Seth goes over. And I'm going to say AJ goes over. Baron Corbin, Madcap. I mean, to tell you the truth, there's no benefit to Baron if he goes over, and I don't see any benefit of Madcap going over. So you know what? I don't give a shit about that one. Whoever wins that one. And I will talk to you guys after the show. Enjoy.